Are you currently using Microsoft Teams to communicate and collaborate in your business? If so, I'd like to show you a way to add voice to Microsoft Teams to both reduce complexity and save money. There are many ways to add voice to Microsoft Teams, but I'm going to show you one of the best ways I've seen in my reviewing of this type of product and this type of equipment. So what you can do is when you're in Microsoft Teams, this little dot down here gives you the ability to find apps within the Teams store, more or less, and there's more apps. What I've done is I've already downloaded the app for 8x8. So when you're looking at Microsoft Teams and you go to voice, one of the first things that happens is, regardless of who you go with, you're going to pay Microsoft about $8 a user just to be able to get this keypad. So here's the keypad that allows you to be able to make and receive calls, and it basically turns Microsoft Teams into a client you can use to be able to make and receive calls, as I've done here. It's kind of cool. Like up here, what you see is you'll have the ability with, once again, the three dots, to either call them back, add them to speed dial, or even block them, right? And it's really easy. If I wanted to call them back, I'd hit that button and it would call Mike Dance back. So the other things you've got up here is you've got all your contacts. When you do bring up a contact, you can click on it. Up comes the ability to either text that person or start chatting, look at their, navigate to their org chart, do a video call, or do basically a phone call. So it's about that easy to be able to make and receive calls. Your history is here. You've got the ability to do some forwarding. You've got the ability to connect to whatever device you want to use to be able to make and receive calls. It's pretty slick. That's how the calls part works. When you start looking at what happens when you click on the 8x8 button, that's when things change as well. And now you have a dashboard within 8x8, within Teams. Okay, so there's your recent activity with voicemails. And here's the dashboard they put together, once again, in Teams to be able to manage your 8x8 experience. So 8x8's got a network that allows you to be able to make and receive calls up to 47 countries at no charge. And then here, like I said, you've got a really neat app that they'll use. The users don't ever have to leave Teams. They don't even generally know who 8x8 is. Here's all the voicemails for that particular person for their work number. Here's the SMS and texting inbound and outbound. Once again, using their work number on any device, from their mobile phone to a tablet to an iPad, anything that can take an app can have the ability to use this with Microsoft Teams. Once again, this is operating in the background in integrated Teams. It even includes fax, which is pretty slick. So when you start looking at faxes, you know, you've got the ability, we don't really use them that much anymore, or it's moving towards that. Once these two things integrate like that, you got the ability to look at fax pages and things of that nature, make and receive faxes. These are call recordings. At any time, you can get a button and record calls and have copies of them and be able to use them it sends it to your email. And then one of the neater things you've got that you don't have on most of the integration solutions with Microsoft Teams and voice is ability to control your actual phone system as a user. So using the right passwords, of course, or ability to access it. Here's Mike Dance's information. Once again, this is off the 8x8 phone system, okay? So one of the easiest things I've seen is when you have the right seat license down here, you've got the ability to enable Microsoft's Teams integration, and that's all it takes. I mean, that's going to connect you to the ability to be able to make and add users and things of that nature. If you're using Teams, it will automatically using Active Directory, be able to add those users as needed. And then you've got things like your extension, disable caller ID, enable call waiting, all those things, and all your voicemail stuff's here where you've got your recording. You've got the ability to send notification or email, disable with the attachment only, however you want to set it up. Reset your PIN numbers, all these things, inbound, outbound, caller ID, a lot of things. Once again, I'll remind you, we are in the Microsoft Teams environment doing it. So that really is slick, being able to have all this information whenever you open up the app. I've got the ability down there to save the changes I've made if I wanted to. And once again, you're 100% inside of Teams when you're doing all of this. So I put a lot of good information on my website at brooksideus.com. I actually have a tab here. You can access it from here or here to get into an actual page that's dedicating to help you get the most out of Microsoft Teams and voice. I mean, a lot of organizations today are using, a separate phone solution for external calls and really only using Microsoft Teams for internal calls. This is the ability to move voice into Teams, be able to use that call button I showed you and be able to have it on any device, anywhere. There's really no change to the Teams user experience. They just begin making and receiving calls on all the devices. And on the website, there's information on how it integrates with several key Gartner Magic Quadrant providers, including 8x8. You go in there and take a look. It's a little bit more additional information, including some videos, a pretty good diagram that shows you just how it works for Microsoft Teams, what it does, using direct routing to be able to use 8x8 in the background to be able to have access to 46 countries, single sign-on, and just the ability to have enterprise-grade telephony added to your Teams. Down here, there's more information. YouTube's on the desktop experience and how it works 100% with Teams. This is all Teams. And then I think one of the biggest things is the contact center piece, which adds analytics, everything you need from omni-channel capabilities. And then, of course, they've got the ability to be able to call around the world for free because they've got data centers everywhere. This makes it just really easy for them to come in, and you get a license for the export. You'll be able to call up to 48 countries. So if you see the countries that you want to call in different zones, you just pick out the license you want, starting at $15 and going up from there. It also will integrate WhatsApp, because that's really used by pretty much most of the world to be able to communicate through chat and things of that nature. So once again, the website is brookesideus.com. We'd love to see what we can do to help you manage your voice to Teams. We're an Austin-based company. We really work a lot with the Gartner Magic Quadrant providers. All the information is on my main page. It shows you everything you need to know about UCaaS, CCaaS, SD-WAN, and video meetings. And then, of course, we also work with all the major carriers to get you fiber, coax, and everything you need to be able to make sure all this stuff works properly. Because when you move to the cloud, you really have to make sure the internet works, or you're pretty much dead in the water. Anyway, I'm Mike Dance. I'd love to help you. I'm with Brookside, and I hope you have a wonderful day.